Welcome to Utilizing Math Nation After the Data. I am Ashlyn Cage, your high school math content trainer. So remember our instructional focus that we want to implement consistent reasoning and problem solving skills throughout our district. Our agenda for today is to look at the data, look at the EBR Math Nation data document, and to do a brief overview of what Math Nation is. So if you look below, there's a bit.ly that you could utilize to get the links from this presentation. Also, there will be a survey that you could put in what more you would like to see if you need support around utilizing Math Nation or utilizing this document, or you could just send an email to your content trainers and your math supervisor. So what is Math Nation? Math Nation is a comprehensive interactive math learning tool that helps every student unlock their math potential. Math Nation resources are available on demand, online, and on their app. So there are custom workbooks. Those are mostly for the high school levels, Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. And if you have not received your books, please reach out to us and send us an email to let us know if you have not received your books, and we'll get right back to you about that. So to go along with those books, there are complimentary videos that go over what is in the book based on the section and the topic. So if you want to look at this more in depth, let me know. If you need to do a video based on that, please let us know. Or if you would like us to do a PLC on Math Nation at your school, or would like the people from Math Nation to do a virtual meeting with you guys, please let us know. We'll get that done for you. There are also the practice tools, or the check for understanding to see if students understood the section and the topic. Also, make sure you guys are utilizing the math wall. If your students are actually utilizing that math wall after hours, there are incentives for them. They could win an iPad if they're one of the biggest users. They could win t-shirts and so many other things, gift cards. And that is given to them by Math Nation. So please enforce or let them know that there are incentives out there for utilizing Math Nation to its fullest. Also, how did we go about getting Math Nation? Math Nation was purchased by LDOE, and so that means that it is free to any district in Louisiana, and we are one of the first districts to get it. Whoop, whoop. Yay us, yay EBR. Let us be first to get it. So moving on. So more about Math Nation. So it moves at their own pace for the students. They can learn in their own way, get individualized feedback, and ask for help in real time. So the ask for help in real time is the math wall. So there is one for teachers and there is one for students. And they are monitored by the Math Nation monitor. So for teachers, it may be someone from Math Nation that may respond to you. And for students, it may be a teacher, tutor, or a peer in Louisiana. And does it have to be a peer from their school? No, it could be a peer from anywhere in Louisiana. So when we say moving at their own pace, please realize that you cannot assign topics or sections in Math Nation. It is supposed to be individualized instruction and based on what the students need. You can tell your students which ones you would like them to do, put it in your Google Classroom, link the video, but you cannot assign them a section or a topic. But you can do reports based on the sections and topics that they did complete. All right, so this is to let you know how to fix any ANET issues that you're having, because I will be using ANET data to look at the EBR Math Nation document. So if you're having any issues, please take a screenshot of this and reach out to help@achievementnetwork.org. So I will be utilizing the interim 1 data to drive my Math Nation document, or my EBR Math Nation document. So this is the overall data for EBR from 2021 and 2022. So this is from all the schools combined. And this is also our diagnostic data. Also, just to let you know, prior to me going in depth into the document, you can also use your Illuminate assessment data to do this. And here's the dates for the end of module assessments. Some teachers have also taken it a step further, and instead of giving the end of module assessments, they are giving a midterm exam using the module assessments. So you can also use that data from the end of module assessments, or if you combine them, use your midterm data. So let's go back to this. So if you click, well, I'm clicking this link. You don't have this link yet, but it will create a ANET Fall Interim Standards. It's going to give me a copy of the document. And so in this document, it tells you the overall average, and now it is breaking it down by standard instead of just by the overall average. And so I am going to go to Algebra 1, and that is what I am going to work with in this document. So if you look in parentheses, that is letting us know how much we increased or decreased from the previous school year. So I'm going to use Algebra 1 Eureka. Because remember that if you teach a different curriculum, you most likely took a different interim first. So this is the data I'm going to use. And anywhere you see NA, that means that standard was not covered on the previous interim assessment. Because remember, last year we had the shortened, condensed version of the interim document, and this year we got the longer version. That way more standards can be covered in the interim assessment and more questions. So this is the data I want to utilize to drive my next steps. So going back to here. So if you notice, I'm going to my Math Nation Interim 1 customized document. Or you can utilize this one. I also made it to where there's one where it is not customized just for Interim 1. It has all the Louisiana standards for Algebra 1, all the Louisiana standards for geometry, and so forth for Algebra 2. And if you want to cut it and customize it based on the assessment you gave or the check for understandings that you've done or the end of module assessments or whatever assessment that you're utilizing at that moment, if you want to customize it towards that, your CFAs, then you could do so. So this one includes all the standards, but I'm going to be utilizing the one for Interim 1. So when I click on it, it's also going to make me make a copy. So you can name this document whatever you need. You can name it by class or by what you teach or by your name. Name it however you want it to look. I'm not going to rename mine at this time. So when looking at this document, it is showing the standards that were covered in Interim 1. And so, of course, I will put in my overall performance. So let's go back to here. So the overall performance was 30% for Interim 1. And so I could put that in. And then for APR 1, I see that for 2022, it is 43%. And that means it increased by 5 this year. So I could put that in. So for this school year, my overall average was 30%. For APRA 1, it was 43%, which was a 5% increase from last year. So that means last year it was at 38%. And so you could do this for each standard. So what we are doing with this document is putting in our data to show what is driving our next steps. So if you notice, this is the code for the standard and how the students did on this standard overall. So then it tells you what the standard is, and it tells you what content in Math Nation covers that standard. So, for instance, I could do this by student. I could do this by class. I could do small group. Say, for instance, I had my first hour. My first hour did really well on APRA1, and then they did bad on ACDA1. So let's just say they had 5%. And last year it was 2%. So let's see if it's going to let me type that. So it's not letting me type. Okay. There we go, 2%. And I could put my percentage. So in that class, my focus could be my students working on that standard, or I could do it based on the lowest standard overall. And when my students come into the room, all right, you guys, during your independent practice time or your when I'm evaluating time, you can work on section 1, topic 7. Or when they come into the room, this could be your engagement piece. So the video could be playing as soon as they come in the room, and then while they're working through the lesson, you can discuss this as well. It just depends on how you want this to work. So you can utilize this document to help drive that instruction. So at some of the schools that I have been at, they have been using it for small group instruction. They have been using it throughout the class time as for a school-wide intervention plan. So just let me know how you would like to use it, and I can support you around it. And also going to those schools, I was able to see that Math Nation, remember, it is a supplemental resource. So it's supposed to support your Tier 1 curriculum. So I've seen it to where a teacher has given them the video to look at home and take the notes at home. And when they come into class the next day, it drives their instruction. It makes them focus on the needs and helps with their misconceptions. In one class, they came in with the formulas already done because they utilized their notes from the Math Nation video. And all the teacher had to do was help them with problems that involved fractions or irrational numbers. So it made it easier for them. I've also seen it to where a teacher allowed this to be their engagement piece. They watched the video on arithmetic and geometric sequences. They were able to create the formula and also find how to create the formula from the Math Nation video. And then they completed their showcase task based on that resource. So this can be used in any form of fashion. So you can start with your document that shows you how your students are doing with that standard and what your next steps are. So allow them to watch the video, do the section, the topic, and then check for understanding after. And so then you'll be able to see which students are still struggling with that standard, and it'll let you know what your next steps should be after. If you have any questions, please reach out to me or any one of us in the EBR Math Department. And so here also included in our ANET resources, Math Nation is included in that as well. So if you click the standards on the ANET document, the Math Nation videos will appear. So I'm trying to make it come up, but it may not come up. Let's see. So it took me to that document, and let's go to Algebra 1, Interim 3. And I'm sticking with Algebra 1 just to keep it consistent. Let's see. Let's go to this document. And so this is our upcoming interim, which is in January. And if you look at your calendar, there are flex days that you could utilize to give your interim assessment in Algebra 1. So if you click these links, it will take you to Math Nation videos. If you click the standard, it takes you to Math Nation videos. And remember also that you have standard-based questions here, and you also have the reference sheet. So moving on. Also, Math Nation is now embedded into our lesson plans for the for next semester, the third 9 weeks, you'll see suggested topics or suggested videos for Math Nation. And they're included in our Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Geometry lesson plans. So remember, if you have any questions or need support, you can reach out to any of us, and have a great day.